here we are again with VajraMa and learning more about what we were never taught by our mamas and our grandmas, I'm afraid. And not only
Yeah.
were we not taught that, I think it was whipped, at least in my culture. I call myself a Celtic American, and 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 that lineage had been whipped into what I term to be a Stepford wife mentality, really, and to survive. And of course, they didn't talk to us about how to be powerful women, except how to clean well. I knew how to clean well. I even learned how to wash off the leaves of my house plants every week or so. It was like, wow, who has time to wash the plant leaves? You know, but we had to spend our
Yeah.
time doing something, right? Because we had lost so much and didn't even know we'd lost it. So
Yeah.
here we are in this day when women are standing up all over the planet, young women standing up alongside or even leading, which is amazing and wonderful. So is there something going on maybe
Oh,
that
yeah.
unconsciously is surfacing? So talk to us about that.
Yeah. Yeah. People present this uprising of women, this awakening of women and coming forth of women as something new and like, oh my goodness. Well, no, it's really old.
Mm-hmm.
It is old because it's the original state of humanity was that women were the spiritual authorities. Women were the leaders. People are ignorant of the history, the real history of humanity and women. We just have the 6,000 to 10,000 years that we know about as if it's always been that way, as if men have always been dominating. And people do not understand, even the women that are uprising, they feel it, but they don't have, most of them don't have, Sharon, they don't have the historical information, the anthropological information, the archaeological information that supports and proves that women were the creators of culture. Women were the creators of language. Women were the creators of the first, pottery, agriculture, and women are the natural spiritual authority of humanity.
You're correct.
Because,
I agree with
yeah,
that totally.
yeah, and if you look at nature, you can see it right there. Who creates the male? The female. And they flipped that, with the religion in order to enforce the original lie of male birth. A male god creates a male, and out of that he creates a female. You had to have that spiritual stamp of authority in order to oppress the women, in order to justify male domination. And you see it in the Greek myths too. You had to, actually ancient Greece was the death knell of women. That's when the last priestesses were murdered. They were highly respected, the Sibyls and the oracles, and then they were murdered. So you had a vestige of women's previous prominence in guiding humanity, there in Greece. But what the historical and anthropological and archaeological evidence shows is that women were the leaders. And okay, what I have to do is tell people to look at nature itself. And I like to use the analogy of a lioness, which is an old epiphany of the goddess. There's the serpent and the lioness, and the lioness, she has authority. I really tweak the word authority, because authority relates to authorship. If you author something, you have authority over it. In order, like if you do a book, if you write a book, you have authority over that book. If you author a child, you have authority. But what authority really means, when you look at nature and you look at how women relate to their children, authority means you're responsible and you're in relationship. So the lioness births her cubs, and she is responsible to protect them. She's responsible to teach them how to hunt, to take them where the water is. She's responsible to feed them until they learn how to hunt. And she's in relation with them, and they're in relationship with her. She's not lording it over them, an ego fest. She is serving them. because she created them. And so when you take that once further with human beings who have a spiritual, emotional component, then woman is the natural spiritual authority because she birthed the child. She's responsible to teach it how to live in the world. And by spirituality, I mean spirituality is your relationship to whatever is around you, to the earth, to the cosmos, to each other as human beings, to animals and plants. That's spirituality, you know.
Right.
And so it's only natural that woman is the natural spiritual authority.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's natural. And in order to flip that around, men had to invent a religion that says, oh, no, women don't create. God, the male God creates. And the serpent, which is the oldest epiphany of the goddess, which is actually the wisdom that moves through the body, the serpent wisdom.
Totally agree there.
That's evil. That had to be made evil.
Yes,
and the whole thing was flipped. And patriarchy is just a flip of the reality. It's a complete reversal of reality.
Yeah,
So,
and who wins under that model is those who want to dominate, and who loses is humanity and our the web of life.
Everybody loses, don't we?
We do. We do. It's like there's that. It becomes a parasitic energy committed to having its host always under its sucking power. It's using in order to do that. That energy force had to cripple women, because women were the authorities, were the leaders, were the ones who could discern what would benefit and what would not benefit, and in that discernment had the authority to say nothing of non-benefit, nothing of violence, nothing of domination can exist within my life, within my home, within my family, whatever. And that had to be crippled in order to keep humanity and the planet entrapped.
Yeah. And if you look at you look at this, the fractal of that, the smaller version of the domestic violence,
Yes.
and you'll see that when you dominate, this domination is willing to absolutely destroy what it's trying to dominate.
Yes.
Which is what we're doing to the planet. We're doing to the earth. We're doing to the species. 200 species a day are going extinct. It's totally insane.
It is
insane.
From a female perspective, but if you are the one who's the parasite, you have the concept, I'll just find another host somewhere else. There's not, because that's a whole different agenda mindset. And so it doesn't make sense to that divine mindset or female mindset that says embrace and benefit and build. It's totally opposite, isn't it?
It's the total opposite. It's destructive, not creative. There's nothing creative about what the male dominated institutions, the male dominated paradigm is manifesting on the planet.
Exactly. Going back to the 60s in our country, when women rose up, and some of them rose up and they were very angry. And angry women they're not pretty, they're not buckling under. So anger was seen as something that's not good. But anger is usually the first step for a woman anyway, at least. You say, wait a minute, something's wrong here. And so anger is an appropriate place. But I think what you're speaking of is understanding and getting to go deeper to what is the truth, what has been lost, so that we have a solid bedrock rootedness into the female body ability. Therefore, the soul in that has that ability and responsibility, really moves you from anger, hopelessness, or frustration or powerlessness into a place of clarity, and we can begin doing the same work we're doing, standing up and speaking truth. But I think understanding that having the deeper knowingness brings us strength and a non-wavering, plus a rootedness within the sisterhood, if you will, that it would be is really a contribution into what's going on today for women.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so important to understand that anger is a wake-up call. It's a natural response to protection. Think of the mother bear, right?
Correct.
Mother bear. She goes, ah, and so women, you've been describing that women are waking up. If you get to that place of anger, then what am I protecting? Anger is a protection.
Right.
What am I protecting? And you get back into that original template of humanity, which is that women are the guides.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Women are.
And then you sink into that, and that becomes that deep clarity that is far more powerful than anger. Well, it leads you in a way anger doesn't. So, wow.
Yeah.
Keep talking,
Yeah.
Vajra.
You don't get, huh?
Keep talking.
What?
Keep talking.
I was going to say, then you don't stay stuck in the anger. The anger is a catalyst. The anger is a waking up, and then you find, what it is you're protecting, and you're anchored in that. Like you said, is that, and then anger can be appropriate from time to time in protection. Calling out hypocrisy, calling out the lies, protecting. Your women from the oppression, so forth. It's a pathway into that deeper knowing.
It is.
And that leadership of women. Yeah.
Good.
But they try to stop us at the anger, right? The demonizing anger, like you said, is a way of stopping women from ever discovering that.
Yeah.
From rediscovering that. Yeah.
Too emotional, you're not pretty, and whatever, but anger is, and it is a wake-up call to become aware of something deeper. So that's just invite our listeners to keep searching, and Vajra is one place where you can search. Love that. And until we meet again, my friend, thanks for being
Thank you, Sharon. My pleasure.
Yeah.